Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to the 1% Club podcast. My name is Tyler Peterson. I am your host, and today I have a very special guest. I will be introducing him in a few minutes, but this is the place where my objective is to show everyone that success doesn't happen overnight. It takes days, months, years, sometimes long, long years for you to achieve something that you are hoping to achieve, and that can only come through hard work. There are no shortcuts to being where you want to be. And the other thing is, it's not a matter of avoiding difficulties and hardships and problems and things like that. It's a matter of learning how to deal when they come. That they will come is a matter of fact. So today, you guys will hear from someone that played professionally. He's still playing, he's still coaching, and it's very, very special for me because when I was coaching at the professional level, he became the captain of my team, and we had an amazing run. If there was promotion and relegation in the US, we would have been promoted to the second division. Unfortunately, that is not the case here in America. But we're going to share, we're going to dive deep into quite a few things, and you guys are going to see whoever is looking to play professionally, you will hear from someone that has been there, played for the U.S. national team as well. It's not a matter of avoiding the difficulties, it's a matter of learning the lessons from them. So, my guest today is Abraham Villon, or AB, as we call him. AB, really, really a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know this took a few weeks to sort it out. This guy is super busy, so it was difficult to get him here. But absolutely, I appreciate you taking the time. Welcome, brother.
No problem. Thank you, Talis. Thank you for having me. As always, it's tough to get on the same schedule or in different time zones. But yeah, always grateful to connect with you, and if I can share some insight on some of my trials and tribulations over time as a player, now as a coach, and my whole journey. I thought, what a better time to do it. So
Absolutely. So thank you. Let's start in the very beginning. Where did you grow up? How did you first get involved in playing the beautiful game? How did you first kick a soccer ball? How did that all happen?
I'm born and raised here in SoCal, Garden Grove, California. Um, I started playing soccer probably around the age of 4. Just typical South American Hispanic, household. My
Yeah.
dad played. I kind of wanted to, emulate him and, kind of copy him, I guess, if you were. So I remember as early on, I think as 4 years old, that I started to, kick a ball, and kind of it caught my attention. I was intrigued. All the family pictures, all the family videos. I'm somewhere in there kicking a ball, and that family parties and stuff. So I think I started playing around 4 years old, and then as I got older, it got a little bit more serious. I started playing competitively.
When did you start playing club soccer?
Started playing. It all started first when. Funny story is that I actually started playing baseball competitively first.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So crazy story, because my parents at the time, we were younger, we kind of come from humble beginnings. My parents had a roommate. It was this Puerto Rican guy, and he would always sit in the living room and watch baseball in the afternoons. And I would kind of like sit there and kind of watch with him, and
Get interested.
yeah, and then I kind of gained an interest for it. And yeah, my dad, some of my earliest memories are like my dad throwing a wiffle ball at me, and I had a bat, and I had pretty good hand-eye coordination when I was, when I was younger. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and then I started playing baseball, and like I would play soccer a little bit just around the house with my dad, but baseball was like another like big thing. And then I remember I was playing baseball. I started playing baseball at like 8 or like 7, like t-ball, you know,
yeah,
just in a little league around the house or in the neighborhood. Um, and yeah, I remember. I think I was like 8 years old, or maybe even a little younger, like 7. Um, my dad became like good friends with this group of Colombian guys,
yeah,
and they would always like take their kids to go play like indoor soccer. Like they would just everybody would take their kids in a car and drive to this local indoor center and play soccer. And one of the dads who was like cool with my dad would always be like, "Hey, like, um, like, can AB come and play with the kids?"
yeah.
My dad would always be like, he doesn't really he plays baseball. He
Oh, wow. Okay.
like he kicks the ball around, but he likes base. He's more of a baseball player.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Colombian guys, like who cares? Like just bring him. It's just like for fun, and like it's not really that serious. After a couple of times of him asking my dad, hey, like, can AB come? My dad said he was like, all right, like, take him or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
I guess, yeah, they would take me go play with their sons and a little group of kids. And then I remember my dad tells me that one time he like asked the guy like, hey, so like, I had gone already like 2 or 3 times, and he could see that like I wanted to go. So then my dad was like, oh, like, how does he do out there? He asked. This guy was name is like Caliche. They call him Caliche,
uh-huh,
and his name is Carlos. And they go, he goes, hey man, like I know your kid, you say your son plays baseball, but like I'm telling you right now that AB for sure needs to play soccer.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
out there like dribbling the ball and dribbling kids and like changing direction and like doing things that some of the kids don't even do. And
yeah.
that was like, all right, like he like believed them, but kind of didn't believe them. And then my dad said that like after that, like the following time that they invited me, my dad let me go, and then he like waited a little bit and
Followed.
followed, and then
Yeah.
showed up like late, like 20 minutes in, and like kind of stood from afar and started watching. And he saw me, and he was like, okay, soccer it is. And then
That's that. He's
that's
pretty good.
and then I started playing both soccer and baseball. And then it got to the point where that little group of kids, and we're all still really close to this day. One
Oh,
of
wow.
one of my best friends, Christian Ramirez, he plays for the Galaxy. Uh, he was part of that little group, and we turned into a Sunday league team in here in Santa Ana.
Yeah.
I literally tell people that I grew up in Garden Grove, born and raised, but soccer wise, I was made in Santa Ana because that's where
Wow.
I played. Uh, and the league that we played in is still around. That league's got to be around for more than 40 years, for sure.
Wow.
That league has produced a lot of players. A lot of players have come out of this league. The Orange Soccer League in Santa Ana, off McFadden and New Hope. And we started there like a U8, U9 team, Little Sunday League.
So
Uh,
they have all ages from
have
youth
all
all the way to
we were playing
adult.
11v11 at U8, and our team was Cosmos. We were the Cosmos.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it started. And like my dad ended up being the coach after like a season. And then I mean, if there's a Hall of Fame there, we're in it because we
Yeah.
won like the league like 3 years in a row. We lost a couple finals. We would play in the Saturday league. We would play in the Sunday league, like different divisions, different, And
Just wanted to play.
we were just at the field forever, always at a game, something. And yeah, that's how we started. And like I said, we won a lot in this league, and we were like good. We wouldn't just kick it and run. We would like play. So
What do you feel are the, let's say, the skills that you developed the most at that time because you were playing so much and, like with other good players? It was basically not as club soccer is nowadays,
yeah,
right? With cones and everything structured. So you
yeah. I mean,
guys,
we had structure, but like I feel like, since we played so many games, I think like we just like the game started to like click for us earlier on rather than, I guess, I mean, even nowadays I feel like kids don't play enough. They play
mm-hmm.
one game a weekend or two games. I was playing like on a Tuesday night, I was playing like on a Thursday,
Yeah,
I was playing on a Saturday, and then on a Sunday. Obviously, once you get closer to like U13, U14, club, a little bit more serious, then yeah, it's only one or two games are needed. Sometimes there's a tournament. But
yeah,
like when I was younger, I played a lot of games. And when we would train, I mean, my I'm Peruvian, so South America is, we're kind of, we're bred to think in like mano a mano, like 1v1,
yeah,
take
yeah.
eye on, like,
Take risk,
take
chances.
yeah, take some drive, like, so protecting the ball, knowing how to like shield the ball. I feel like those are like juggling the ball. Like I remember my dad would make us juggle for like the first half an hour of training. Like,
Yeah,
and in at first some people couldn't juggle, but then they got better over time. And me personally, like I remember I was juggling like every day. Like I like creating that relationship with the ball. I feel
yeah,
like it's not emphasized enough here in the States. I feel like it's just such a momentary phase for kids. Like, oh, I get to a certain point of juggling a ball, and then I think I'm good enough. I don't need to do that anymore because
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
a little bit, or I can kind
Yeah,
of one version of it. Yeah. So I think my technical ability, I obviously I had some sort of a like a natural born kind of thing within me to like
a gift.
take players on, and in the my conception of space, when not to get too close to the guy, just certain things. But yeah, I feel like 1v1 skills, being knowing how to use your body to protect the ball, even if
Yeah,
it's smaller. um Yeah, a lot of those things. I just feel like juggling a ball, overall technique. I just feel like a lot of that stuff, dribbling with my head up.
yeah, yeah,
Um, my dad would just, kind of. He taught me as much as he could, right? And then yeah, we were Sunday league team. We U8 through U10, and then I remember right at U10, somebody like came and watched us and like literally offered our whole team to just go and be a part of a club, like like a division. We're NHB,
oh wow.
North Huntington Beach. I think they're still around. In like silver. Back in the day, there was no ECNL, ECRL, NPL. You were in the Coast Soccer League. There was only one league.
CSL.
You were either in gold, silver, or bronze.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
at one point they added like a premier. So you were like premier, gold, silver, or bronze. And you
yeah,
knew where you fell in there. And so we started at, I think we started at bronze. And then our first year, we just like smoke showed everyone. Like
yeah.
10-0.
And this is what you guys were, U10, U11?
Yeah, we're U10, U10.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very quickly, bronze. And literally, like, I think halfway through the season, the league was like, okay, like, we got to move you guys up because, like, you
This
guys
is unfair.
are unfair. Not good for the other teams because you guys are smoke showing everyone. So
Yeah, yeah,
just up to silver. And then in silver, we're still beating teams 4-0, 5-0. We did like one half a season bronze, a full season silver, right into gold.
yeah,
And in gold, we still started winning a lot, and I think we even won the gold like our first year that we were there, or we came in second, and then the following year we won it. But yeah, and then after that, then we moved clubs. Then we went to CFC Toros, which was like here in like Anaheim, and then yeah, that's kind of how my soccer journey started. And then I remember around like 12 and 13, I started to kind of pick up a little bit of notoriety
Yeah,
in SoCal, right? Like I guess like I was being scouted, right, as like a talent, right?
yeah, yeah,
ODP was like coming in at like 12, 13, right? You were like if you were in the development, pool or whatever, I was
yeah.
identified, and then got called into an ODP camp. I
And what would you say at that time? Why were you being identified as like a top talent? What was something that you feel like you had that other kids didn't necessarily have the same skills, vision? What would you say that was like setting you apart?
I mean, I just think overall, just like my technical ability, I could literally do it, everything. Like my first touch, everything was, pretty high level.
Yeah,
Like when I was younger, I was very shifty. Like 1v1, 1v1, it was over. You needed
you loved it.
you needed a second guy. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I would go through the first guy, no problem. I would.
yeah,
I mean, some of my teammates would even talk about it. I mean, I was younger. I would dribble by like two, three guys, like no problem, and then I would always just feed the open guy, and then he would score. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, I would say like my understanding of the game, my technical ability, and my 1v1, like my that risk taking. I always had it. I always actually wanted to take players on.
yeah, yeah.
Nowadays, I see kids, they get the ball and it's just so passive.
They're afraid.
They're maybe they're not afraid, but they're just like, oh, it's like I don't know. I feel like as an attacker, I played like an attack, like winger, like 10. You know, I mean, those are the positions that you have to be creative, and you got to go at players and stuff. So, I mean, I also do remember once I was like around 10 years old, or no, like 11, yeah, 10 to 11, I started to go to Peru. And then it happened a little bit more around 12 when,
Go like in the summer.
yeah, well, like, you know, my story was that after at like around 12, 13, I had a big life moment in my life, right? My family, unfortunately, my parents and my mom and my sister, not my sister because my sister was born here, but my parents were deported back to Peru. And
Both parents.
both parents. And my sister at the time was 5, and I was 10. No, sorry, my sister was 7. Sorry, and I was 12. And this was in 2002. My sister was too young, so they were gonna. When it happened, my parents were like, "Look, your sister's gonna come with us because she's too young. She can't stay here." But um, you, I was already, like I said, around 12. I was already being identified, right?
As
ODP
a talent.
as a talent, ODP team, best in SoCal in for my age group. Um, so around, and I would say when I was 12, I was kind of like a mature 12, right?
Yeah,
Like I kind of, I had kind of like a little bit more of a mature mindset than some other 12-year-olds.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, my parents pretty much, they told me, they left the decision up to me. Like, if you want to stay, you can stay. You'll live with your aunt. She'll take care of you. They'll take you to your games, etc. And or if you want, you come with us. If you come with us, we're going to Peru. Peru's a different world. It's not what you're used to here.
yeah.
The opportunities aren't the same. The life isn't the same. So, I mean, I was 12, right? So, but I mean, ultimately, I ended up choosing to stay here in the States and live with my aunt and play and right and make the most. But yeah, once that happened to my parents, every year in the summer I would go to Peru for like,
Could you recall, and I'm sorry to
yeah,
just
no, yeah,
backtrack a little bit, but that's a very defining moment in your life
yeah,
to make that type of decision at 12 years old. So, do you remember what is going through your mind? What are some of the things like, okay, I'm going to leave my parents. I'm not going to be with them and I'm going to be here by myself. I'm already feeling like this is my dream. I'm chasing a dream to become a professional soccer player, or is that not even in your mind yet? You're just like, okay, I want to be here for more opportunities, or what's your thought process if you can recall at only 12 years old?
yeah. I mean, I always knew. I feel like around like 10, maybe a little bit earlier, that like I wanted to play football, soccer as
Yeah,
like, you know, a career if
your
possible.
dream. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure, a dream. Um, and yeah, I always remember like, just any chance I could, I had a soccer ball. I was training, or if I mean, nowadays we didn't have, like cell phones and, in the internet and, stuff that is around now. We didn't have that kind of stuff. So like to, occupy time, my dad would always be like, just go outside,
play.
go play. And I mean, I took advantage of it. When that event happened to me, I remember at first I was a little confused, right? Because I was just like, it was kind of like blindsided, right?
Yeah.
But I remember, just kind of thinking like, all right, well, what are you gonna do? Like, do you want to like, should I stay? Should I go? If I go, what are the pros and cons? If I stay, what are the pros and cons? I weighed everything out. And yeah, I just made a grown decision at a young age. And yeah, and I remember my parents telling me, like, look, like, we're going to be in constant communication every day, like,
Yeah.
you'll come visit us when you're off of school in the summer, and you'll stay here with us for 2 months, month, whatever, however long you have on your break. And yeah, and that's what I ended up doing. And back to the soccer point.
So you end up staying, living with your
And
aunt,
yeah, yep.
and then playing club soccer,
Playing
going
club
to
soccer,
school,
club
and
soccer,
going to Peru in the summer.
Peru in the summers. Yep. And
Okay, okay.
Peru in the summers. And I remember in the summer in Peru with my family, I would literally play soccer every day with the kids from the neighborhood, every single day, from like, we'd probably go at like 10 a.m. and we wouldn't get back till like 3 in the afternoon or something like that. We'd go for like 5 hours
Straight. Boom.
straight. We'd go. They'd wake me up. They'd throw little rocks in my window. I'd
Yeah.
wake up. I'd look outside. There's like six of them with a ball, and they're like, "Hey, we go play." I'm like, would run downstairs, and my mom's
Vámonos.
like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm gonna go play." They're like, "Wait, why? Why?" They're like, I'm like, "All right, give me a banana. You gotta eat something. All right, give me a banana." And I would go, and I literally, and I feel like that molded me too, because we would play a lot of like small sided, like 4v4, 5v5. In Peru, it's called pulpito. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it's called in Brazil or whatever. But um, on this asphalt, cracks,
Yeah.
goals that have no nets, just chains. Sometimes we would go to different like nearby cities and kind of like,
To play against.
would already know, somebody would know someone from an area, and they would be like, "Oh, we have a team. Let's play you versus us." They would bet. They would bet on the games like 20 cents per player,
Yeah. Yeah.
and winning team. If we'd win, we'd go to the little like bodega, little liquor store that's on the corner everywhere, and we
Yeah.
soda and like little breads, and we would just sit there and just pretty much like both.
Oh, those were the fun times, huh?
Oh my god, it was guys would just be like cracking jokes on each other, and it's just like the culture,
Yeah, yeah.
and but yeah, it molded me a lot football wise, because I feel like for some reason in South America, I don't know, like football is like I don't know, it's like I don't want to say you're born with it, but like it's weird because out here you could go watch games and you're like, man, this guy's
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of work. But over there in Peru, they play on the street, and I think just because they play so often, they just like pick it up fast, and like
And everybody's technical, right?
everybody technical. Everybody, like, if you're not that technical, you're the goalie,
Yeah.
and like I just
Or
remember
if you're the little gordito getting goal.
get in the back. So
Yeah.
I remember that vividly, and kind of having both, U.S. club soccer structure, organized, competitive, and then I go to Peru, and I'd have like that, like street version, right, of like football. I
Yeah.
kind of molded me into, the kind of player that I ended up becoming, and then I ended up making the national team, U15, U16, U17. That,
Wow.
right, that was huge because it kind of like validated my decision, with
To stay in the US, yeah.
I had to stay in the States, and then yeah, and then I
So
was,
you're playing club soccer at this time,
yeah,
representing the US national team,
yeah,
going back to Peru. So you're really, really on a path to becoming a great player.
yeah. I was, I had a good projection, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how it started, and then eventually it got to the point where, all right, well, college is gonna come around, and
What do you recall being your best moment representing the US? Is there any specific game, any trip, anything that you can remember?
I
Any
just
part?
I remember like early on with the national team, because I mean, it's pretty cutthroat. Like,
Yep,
national team, you could be in one camp, at one point, and then 5 months go by, and if you don't perform in your club, you
you're
don't
out.
don't get called again. And so I was fortunate enough from like 15 to 17 to get called
Stay.
repeatedly. Maybe I'd miss one, and then I'd get back in another one, and then. But I remember like around U15 or U16, we were like, the head coach was Jim Barlow. He's the head coach now at Princeton. He's been there for like a long time.
Yeah,
But my first national team coaches, and he, on one of the trips, we were like in Bradenton. That's usually where they had all the national team camps, and I kind of became like the captain of the trip, right? So I remember that was like a big deal for me, because I'm like, all right, like, I'm the captain of my age group, the 90s. It's like
yeah.
imaging like the 89s, and they got like Josie Altidore and like all these like big name players, and I'm like, all right, well, I felt like I belonged.
Let's go. Yeah.
So it was cool experience. I had also some pretty awesome trips, like with the regional team. We went with the regional team. That's probably like one step low before being selected to the national team.
Yeah.
I went to the Czech Republic. I went to Germany. Um, where else did we go? I think we went to Costa Rica,
Wow.
but I remember, we went to Italy. I remember one of the trips specifically, we were in Italy, and two moments there. We played Napoli in like a group stage. There was quite a bit of fans there. There's probably like 1,000 fans,
Yeah.
and we're me and my one of my buddies, Danny Barrera. We were like walking up.
Oh, Diego's brother.
Diego's brother. Yeah, Diego's brother. So we were in the starting 11, and we were in like this tunnel, and we're like, I'm in front and Danny's behind me, and we're like kind of, and then the other Napoli like walks up, and they're kind of side by side, and we're like, we're kind of talking to each other, kind of over our shoulders, and we're like, hey, like, let's get it, like, it's like the second game of the group. The first game we drew 3-3 in like a crazy game, and then And then as the Napoli team's walking up, we like look over and there's this guy there, and we kind of like do like a double take. We look at him and then we kind of look back and then we kind of like look again and look at him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're like, we like, or I think I remember I was the one that was like, Vincenzo. And then he kind of turns around and me and Danny are like, no way. And it was this kid named Vincenzo. I think his last name's like Bernardo from Jersey. We were on the national team together.
Wow.
Prior, he moved to Italy. He's Italian from, I think he's from Jersey. He had moved to Napoli and was playing with their like academy team over there.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
And we like, we're in the tunnel about to like play, and we're like, what's going on here? And then yeah,
Yeah.
like this like kind of moment where we're like, whoa, what happened? And then I mean, it was like a cool little, kind of little anecdote or whatever. But we ended up winning the game 3-0. We had a
Wow.
crazy game. The fans started getting a little crazy because towards the end of the game, we're like kind of killing time, and like,
Ole.
yeah,
Ole.
we're in the corner. They're hitting us. We're going to the ground, wasting time. The fans had to. We were like escorted by the security because at the very end a tackle broke out, and like we obviously like one of our players like got in someone's face, and then like
Yeah.
they're losing, so they're like, oh, let's fight.
Hell broke loose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we all like crammed together, and then ref blew the whistle, and then our coaching staff was like, let's go into the locker room, and we start jogging, and people start throwing stuff at us, like bottles of like I don't know if they're water bottles or drinks or whatever. So the security guards with the shields are like kind of shield.
Attacking you.
Like,
Yeah.
we're like running in and stuff, and it was like one of those moments where I was like, damn, I'm in a foreign country, like
Yeah.
it doesn't really happen in the States. So that was cool, right? In Napoli, and then yeah, we played Juventus in like a knockout game in that same tournament. It's like a big tournament over there. Beat
Wow.
4-1. Yeah. And then we ended up losing in the semifinal to Atletico Mineiro from Brazil.
Oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
These guys, I swear they had like at a few 25-year-olds on the team for sure. Some cachirules for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, in Brazil, I don't know what these guys are like. They're like grown men at like
We
50.
call we call the cachirul,
Yeah,
we call them gato.
gato. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god.
Oh, if he's a gato, yeah, he's surely older.
Oh man, they had a couple guys that I was like, dude, this guy's like a full grown man at like fit. We were like 15,
Beard and everything. Yeah.
just like strong, like good on the ball. It was just like it was crazy. But I had a lot of those moments, like now that I look back on it, different trips,
Yeah.
different time spent with teammates, and the connections you made over time, with
Oh,
people.
lifetime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
real, now that I'm older, I'm like, damn, I have all these memories and stuff. It's pretty cool, right? Because I
You
can,
miss, right?
oh yeah, you can always reminisce and stuff, and so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
So now what happens next? Where do you go to high school?
Well, I mean, I went to high school in Garden Grove. I went to Garden Grove High.
Okay.
I didn't really play soccer up until because my freshman year, I missed like 67 days of school. Because I was on the national team, like going here, going there, right, going on all the
Always gone. Yeah.
always gone, and like I kind of like I wasn't being good about staying on top of my studies, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's to my own fault. So like my grades were falling, my attendance was bad, and the school and the district, they didn't really care that I was, because I was like, I had a meeting in front of the district. They're like, hey, you missed 67 days of school, like, this is unacceptable. And then me and my aunt were at the meeting, and they're like, well, I mean, he's not missing because he's like
Sitting around at home.
around or going and hanging out somewhere. He represents the U.S. national team, whatever. He's like considered a top player in the country, and I don't know. Nowadays things have changed. there's a lot more leniency, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But there wasn't no online programs, or maybe there was, but I didn't know about it, right? My
yeah,
aunt didn't know about it.
yeah.
So yeah, so I got kicked out of the district.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my freshman after my freshman year. So I spent my whole sophomore year in independent studies trying to make up credits to go
Yeah,
back. And then yeah, and then I went back. So I went to Garden Grove High freshman year, got kicked out of the district. Sophomore year, I did independent studies, got my grades back up, and then I ended up going back my junior and my senior year. But I think I only played 2 seasons in high school.
yeah, yeah.
I High school soccer for me was more like a pasatiempo, like just to do it, just to stay.
Yeah, it's not a the
Club goes dark, during high school. So
club soccer. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
our club went dark, so yeah, so I did that, and then around like I want to say like 13 or 14, I made another big decision. I left my local club team, which we were together since we were like 10. Some players left and went other places, but for the most part, it was like the same group. I left my team to go to a different team, and I lived in Garden Grove, and that team played out of Thousand Oaks, California,
Oh, wow, all the way there in the valley.
like hour 30, like easy. And yeah, and I mean the one of the coaches there, like he kind of specifically like reached out to me or my parents.
Yeah,
He's like, hey, we want AB on our team, this and that. Like first it started off like I guessed it with them at a tournament at Surf Cup or something, and we got all the way to like the final, and I got along really well with the kid, with the team, and the coach, and the parents, and everything was really cool. And so then after that, they offered me a spot on the team, and then my dad mainly was like, well, yeah, but like, how is it gonna work? Like, he's in Garden Grove, like we nobody can drive him to training, and the coach, his name was Dan Metcalf. He had already thought it all out. He had a whole plan. He's like, look, we train Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No problem. AB goes to school. He gets out at whatever, 2 something. Somebody, all they need to do is drop him off at the train station at 4:15. Drop him off. He'll take a train. We train at 6:30. Takes the train at 4:15. He'll be in LA by like 5:15. Somebody will pick him up. Go to the train. He'll One of these parents, great family, the Mandels. I'm still in contact with them. Like they're just great people, great human beings. Like I'm in debt to them forever for my whole life.
yeah,
It was like my another family of mine. Uh,
yeah.
they pretty much like took me in as one of like their kids.
Their own. Yeah,
Yeah, and they would pick me up, take me to their house. We would, I would do my homework with their son who was on the team, Austin. Um, yeah, and then we go to train, and then after training, I would get dropped off at the train station. Train would take me back, and I get picked up by one of my, my cousin or my aunt or whatever. And yeah, I did that for like literally like 4 years straight.
wow.
Yeah, like an hour and a half, hour and yeah, something like that. Definitely, far, far for
So
sure.
to everyone listening,
Good club team. Like our club team was like we won state cup like 3 years in a row. And maybe nowadays state cup isn't a big deal, but back in the day, state cup was like
oh,
the
yeah,
big. We won Dallas Cup. We won like Surf Cup, like I don't know, like 5 times. Won like we literally won every tournament, like that in our own age group.
yeah, yeah.
And then like more than like I want to say like 80% of our team went to Division 1 schools. And the ones that didn't were because grades or
Mm,
two. So we had a really good club team,
great level.
great level. We were like probably one of the best club teams in the nation in our age group. And then yeah, and then from that, I mean at the time, right? I'm on the national team. I'm on this good club team. Of course, I'm being recruited, right, by colleges. I'm hundreds of colleges, literally like mail and letters every day in the mail from different.
I want you to share the story,
Yeah,
please. that
Yeah.
you had to get a new mailbox.
Uh, yeah. So we would start getting so much mail that like, and on top of like the other mail of the house, right? That like it literally would like be falling out of
So
the
this is you living at your aunt's
my
house still.
hands.
Yeah.
We had a mailbox right next to the door. It was like a you stuff it inside, it's like an envelope kind of thing, like a box.
Yeah.
And so like my uncle was like, dude, like it just looks so sloppy because mail would always be like stacked and crammed. We're gonna create two mailboxes. So he put like another one at the front of the driveway and then that one. So whenever the mail would get too filled and like almost filled on the front by the door, just put it in the other one.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of how it was, and yeah, I would like, I mean, like I said, when my junior year, man, I probably got like easily 50 to like 100 notices, like of colleges reaching out to me and
Yeah, yeah.
trying to convince me to go to their school, and it was a cool experience, right? Because nowadays and even back then, I mean, you're lucky if you're recruited by a few schools, let alone that many. And
Oh my gosh, yeah, for sure.
with a lot of big schools too, like it wasn't just no, it was like Duke, Wake Forest, St. John's, Clemson, New Mexico, Santa Barbara, UCLA, Princeton. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it was like a lot of big name schools and mostly D1 schools, and yeah, it was a
And
good.
to everyone listening, because this is part of the reason why I like sharing our stories here. Yes, someone seen from the outside. Wow, that's awesome. Getting a new mailbox because so many letters and invitations, but that's the at the surface. But the root of that was the decision to stay here in the country, being
Yeah,
away from your parents, living at your aunt's house, being away from everyone, leaving a club team that you were playing for a new one, getting in the train, getting your homework done at someone else's house. And to me, that's where the hand of God starts to play a part, where it puts the right people. But you have to be doing your part. You have to be doing your sacrifices. And you've done a lot of that. So to get to that point where you are being recruited, you are having a lot of offers. Yes, maybe God gave you a talent, but you had to put in the work from an early age to develop that, to get away from like a childhood that a lot of kids have nowadays, that it's pretty linear. It
yeah,
doesn't vary a whole lot. So you're having to mature very early, not only on the field but off the field as well. You're making big time decisions, and I know how it is. You're talking to your family on the phone.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not like
yeah,
you have your dad here. Hey, come on, sit down. Let's
yeah,
figure it out. What's going on? There's none of that going on.
yeah.
So how do you handle all of that is going on? Because you're a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah, I mean, when I was around that age too, I think not having my parents present. I mean, obviously, to my aunt and my cousin and my uncles, and they did what they could, right, with me. I
Yeah,
mean, I'll always be grateful for them. That's like my aunt is like it's like my mom, like my
yeah,
second. My cousin is like a father figure.
yeah,
My uncle did his part too. Um, but I feel like at 16, 17 too, I started to kind of like get a little bit kind of sidetracked too, just normal life, like hanging around the wrong crowd and,
yeah,
like, you know, different things come into, the social life and girls, and, you start coming into a whole different realm of things that a young man, everybody goes through, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, and yeah, I ended up paying for it because I went from ultimately through the whole college thing. I decided I accepted the offer to play at UCLA. I was gonna get a full ride, um, and that was always the goal, right? To play in college. Like my dad would always be like, "Look, I don't know if you're gonna be a pro. I don't really care."
NAB, just tell everyone what that represents for a guy from California, UCLA. I'm pretty sure everybody knows, but the level of players that UCLA gets is only national team level players, and to get a full ride there, that's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Obviously, college soccer has changed in recent
A,
years.
a lot, yeah,
Who the powerhouses are, and some teams will do well some seasons, some not so well. But around when I was around 17, 18, everybody knew that UCLA for sure top 10. Like
yeah,
maybe like history wise, even maybe in the top 5, maybe soccer
yeah.
wise. Very prestigious school, especially athletics. A lot of like legends went to UCLA in terms of all sports, really.
All sports, yeah,
The crop, really, right? So, like I said, with my dad, having talks with my dad and everything, he would always tell me like, "Look, I don't know if you're gonna be a pro, but I mean, I don't really care, to be honest. Like, all I want you to do is take full advantage of the US, and I came here for you to, better opportunity for you to have a better life. And
yeah.
if you can use football to your advantage to get you into a university, to get a good education, and if you can have them pay for it,
Even better.
no brainer. If you do that, I could die happy. So I always remember that. And yeah, when, all my hard work and stuff throughout the years, that was always in the back of my head, like, all right, like that's my goal. Like
Yeah,
minimum, play college soccer, get my degree paid for. My parents don't pay a dime. That was
yeah,
my goal.
yeah.
And yeah, around like 16, 17, I was like projected for that. I accepted a full ride to UCLA. I'm like, I'm on path, right, to do it. And then my last semester of high school, I get a D and an F in 2 classes. I'm not doing well in school. I messed around, and I'm declared ineligible by the NCAA.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Yeah, so it was like I went from like being on the top of the mountain to like I didn't even walk down the mountain. I just jumped off the mountain and landed on the bottom, and it was a life changing moment. Because you just and life has a way of humbling you when you think things are going well, and you can't do wrong, and you're gonna be at the top forever, and I was humbled. I was, there's a mistake, an error on my behalf to
Yeah.
let my studies get that in that position, and then yeah, and then I had to pick myself up, and
So the consequence of that D and the F is you're
yeah,
not eligible to go to UCLA and take the full ride.
anywhere. Not eligible to play in any UC school if you get a D and an F. I don't know if the rules have changed now, but I don't think they have. Um, you could like appeal it and then like take a couple college courses, and if you pass those college courses with like they got to be like I think I don't know maybe like a B average, then maybe you can go back into school, but um yeah, it was tough. I even tried to appeal it, and I went to a semester of junior college, and I just like I couldn't do it. Like for some reason I just maybe I was too caught up in my own circle of friends and my lifestyle and stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it, and then yeah, I pretty much I went from getting ready to go to UCLA, one of the top schools, play soccer there. Who knows what happens if I do that? Like you go to
Yeah.
UCLA. usually if you're good enough, 1, 2 years, and then you're gone. You go to the
Yeah.
MLS, or you go overseas or whatever. So that happened. I remember there was like a semester in time where I I took that semester to try to appeal the decision, go to school. I'm at a high school now, so now I need money. I have like a part-time job, and now I need to still play. So I'm like on trial with Chivas USA, like training with them and their reserves.
Yeah.
And I remember like the first week of training just being like so overwhelmed. I was like, because I come from like being one of the best players in my age group, like on the national team, consider myself like a top player.
Yeah.
I go into like a pro realm and get around all these like pros. And I was just like, oh my God,
Yeah. Yeah.
so fast. I'm not the best player anymore. I'm like the last one.
Yeah.
And these guys are grown men.
Yeah.
Things that I would do with my own age group, and things that normally would work aren't working anymore. And
Different pace.
like a wall hits you. So yeah, so that happened, and then I remember I didn't last a long time, like maybe like a semester, and then I realized I wasn't gonna go to UCLA. My grades weren't gonna be good enough. I'm not good enough to be a pro yet, and I need to get out of the like the my circle that I'm in. I need like
My environment, because this is
I
what got me
yeah,
to where I am. Yeah.
get out of here because and nothing good is gonna come from me staying. So then I ended up going to a junior college in Arizona, Arizona Western, in Yuma, Arizona. It's like the Egypt of the U. Nothing out there, just a school and a mall and a shopping center. No disrespect to Yuma, I'm very grateful for that place, because it helped me and propel
Put
me,
you back on the path.
put me back on the path. I'm sure now there's more, there's a lot more there in the community and a lot of good people there and stuff. So, but yeah, I went over there. It was like considered like a D1 junior college, right? Where you go there, they pay for your schooling. If you're, I mean, my situation, I didn't come from money, so I was on FAFSA. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, you dorm there, you live there, you go to school there, you play soccer. And yeah, I was like, all right. So a few of my teammates that got bad grades with on this club team that I was on, DMS 11, um, they they were there already one season. So
Is that what got you there? Because you already knew the path?
yeah, because we kept in contact, and then I remember, I don't know how it was brought up, but one of them was like, they kind of knew my situation. They're like, dude, why don't you just come down here to to Yuma, and you could play here and go to school here. You'll get paid, because FAFSA, and you do your 2 years, get your AA, and then you can transfer. And I'm like, all right, well, that sounds freaking genius.
That's what I need right now.
What I need. So I went over there, and then I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to do, but I mean, all right, I guess, right? I guess I'll figure it out. And yeah, I went over there. I did my 2 years, got my grades in line. I realized like that was like my last chance. If I screwed that up, then I mean, then college soccer is out of the question. Like at least like high level college soccer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I went over there, did my 2 years. Obviously, I did well soccer wise because junior college level isn't that good, right? I mean, and I was destined to play D1, so I'm like flying in junior college,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then
You're very good for that level.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I picked up like, I mean, I was never really a scorer growing up, like in terms of goals, but I must have picked up like, I don't know, in 2 seasons, and like I was easily in like double digit assists, probably like 30 something assists or something. I was just like
Yeah.
on a frenzy of assists.
Wow. Yeah.
Then my schooling did what, I was doing well in school and stuff. So then after my second year, because you can only play 2 years junior college. After my second year, then I started reaching out to schools that, had reached out to me when I was, coming through the ranks as an 18-year-old. And then yeah, and then I one of my one of my good friends from my club team, he was the captain at San Diego State. And like I kept in contact with a lot of my teammates, right? From that.
Yeah, yeah,
And I remember telling him like, hey, like, I'm getting ready to transfer, like I'm looking for some schools, like do you think your coach would be interested? He's like, oh hell yeah. Daniel Stairs. He plays at Houston now. He's Houston Dynamo
yeah,
center back. Good player, good guy, super cool guy. He was like, oh yeah, for sure, like 100%, I'll talk to them. And then literally like 2 3 days went by, and I got a phone call from the head coach of San Diego State. He was like, hey AB, like this is Lev Kirshner at San Diego State. Like, I talked to Daniel, he kind of explained to me your situation. We'd love to have you come on a visit. And I'm like, all right, well, so I went to San Diego State. Incredible.
yeah,
Oh my God. The just from the moment I set foot on the campus, and then because you're on a visit, you go there like 2 days, you or like one day, 1 day, 2 days, you tour of the campus, you get picked up by. I stayed with Daniel with my buddy.
yeah.
You go hang out with the team, you go to a training session, you go to a game maybe, you maybe go to a party at night if they have one, and you kind of just they give you the full on experience, at
Oh, you see San Diego.
oh,
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, this is heaven on earth.
This is paradise.
Oh my God. I was like, the next morning at breakfast, I was like, Coach,
I'm sold.
I don't need to see anything else, brother. Where do I sign? You know? And yeah, so that's how it happened. And then yeah, I made the decision, and then yeah, um San Diego State became an Aztec.
Yeah.
Uh and then that was super cool, the probably 3 of the best years of my life, just overall life experience.
Played 3 years there.
I played 3 years at San Diego State. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I only had 2 years to play, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise. When I was going into my senior year, in the summer, I played in the PDL. Now it's like called League Two,
USL too. Yeah.
USL two, and I went to Thunder Bay to play in Canada, and good team. It has a lot of history.
We lost to them 1 year in the semifinal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was on that team that you guys lost to in the when you guys went to Thunder Bay.
Oh.
Wait, were you there? No.
Yeah, I wasn't there,
Oh,
but we
okay. Yeah, I was on that team that they lost to when they went there. So
USL screwed us over because they knew we had a lot of
yeah,
Brazilians.
you guys had a lot of
So we
Brazilians.
played in Canada. Yeah.
They couldn't travel, right? They couldn't travel. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember. I remember. And then yeah, so I went over there, and then like I remember that summer going into my senior year, like literally like the 3 weeks before it was over, I like separated my shoulder in a game,
Oh wow.
needed surgery, so I was pretty much gonna be out like 2 to 3 months, and I did it like early August, so I didn't come back till like late, like into October, and by that time, season is
College season is already
good.
yeah.
They're like, it's probably better just to redshirt you, bro, so you don't burn a whole season. So it ended up being a blessing in disguise because it gave me a whole year of school to do as a player, and then my following year, the third year, I only
You're
had
still eligible to play.
and I only had a year left of school to get my degree. So when I was done with my season, I just had one more, like the spring to finish the spring, and then I got my degree.
Oh wow. And
So
then you could
I
still
would have
play in the fall.
if I would have finished my second year, I still would have had a whole year of school to do, and I don't know that I would have been like switched on enough with soccer to
Yeah.
like do well and finish it. So
Yeah.
it's like a blessing in disguise in a weird way.
Yeah.
Then I got my degree, and then yeah, it was all worth it. And then yeah, after that, then I went on the professional journey, right? A lot of trials
So
and
how was the college experience playing wise?
oh, it was awesome. Loved it. It was. I mean, San Diego State at the time we were in the Pac-12, so UCLA, Stanford, Berkeley, Washington, Oregon State. Those were all the schools. Stanford that like we played against, and that was like
Tough conference.
another big reason why when I was like San Diego State, we play in the Pac-12. Oh hell yeah!
I mean,
I called all those schools when I was getting ready to transfer. UCLA, UCSB, Berkeley, Washington, all those schools, and they're like, nah, we don't really do 2 year transfers.
mm,
Some of them were
your
like,
ship has sailed.
some of them were like, yeah, we're not interested. So when I got the opportunity to go to San Diego State, and I found out like we're gonna be in the Pac-12, play against some of these schools that said no to me or passed on me, I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm signing me up for that.
Yeah, yeah.
That was another little thing, and then yeah, it was just overall a great experience. The program there at San Diego State, the coach isn't there anymore. He moved on. Um, but yeah,
Lev recruited a few of our players
oh
before too. Yeah.
yeah, Lev was a good guy. The assistant coach, really cool guy. Matt Hall.
Matt, yeah.
He was like he's like the reason that I graduated college. Basically, he like was like another father on campus for me. Like
Yeah.
kept me in line when my emotions would get the best of me sometimes during games or after games, or
Yeah, yeah.
he made sure I was on top of my stuff, and good guy, good person. And yeah, it's just overall just a wonderful experience in San Diego, and yeah, it's just San Diego, best city in the world.
Oh my gosh. I live in Florida now, but if
Yeah,
I didn't, my dream was to move to San Diego. So from LA, I was going to move to San Diego, but then life happened, took a different turn, and I ended up in Florida. But I love San Diego. It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. It's incredible. I'm looking for a reason to go back.
Oh, you
I,
find one. You find it.
I think we all are really. So, but yeah, but no, it's a great experience. And I have no regrets about it. It was awesome.
That's amazing. So what comes next? Done playing in
After that,
college?
done playing in college, and then I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I got my degree. Let's do it. Let's try to do this. Let's try to play, and let's see if I can land on a team, and let's try to figure this out, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I embark on my pro journey, and yeah, a lot of trials and tribulations. Luckily, after I was in the pool to be drafted in the MLS. I did really good my senior year. I had like I think like 7 goals, 8 assists.
Yeah.
I made the All Pac-12 team, so did really well.
Yeah.
And yeah, didn't get drafted. So then now, but I had a few offers to go on in preseason.
Yeah.
San Antonio FC at the time, there were the Scorpions, and the NASL was still around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I was there in preseason. One of my good friends, Danny Barrera, Diego's brother, was there, just signed, and I was there for like a month. I did. Alan Marcina was the head coach. Uh, I was doing really well. I was gonna be signed to the team, and then literally like the last week of preseason, Alan calls me into his office, and he's like, "Hey, be like, you know, I know the plan was to offer you a contract and sign you for the season, um, but plans have changed." And I'm like, damn, all right, well, here goes
Here he comes
goes the
again.
disappointment. Here comes the disappointment. But he's like, I'm not gonna sign you, but there's another team that wants to sign you right now. And I'm like, who? And he's like, this team head coach just called me, Jimmy Nielsen, brand new team in the USL, OKC Energy. They need a winger.
Yeah.
I told him about you. I told him how you've been doing here. He knows me. He trusts me. They want to sign you right now. I'm like, all right, cool. So then after that, yeah, they faxed the papers in, and yeah, I signed. I looked over the terms, and yeah, I'm on a plane next day, Oklahoma.
Next day.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm on a plane,
Yeah.
and that was the first year as a club, so it's a brand new franchise,
Yeah.
Oklahoma City Energy. I think that was 2013 to 2014,
Yeah.
and yeah, good experience. First pro season. You know, I did well. Started off the year, didn't really play much. Kind of had to earn my way into the team, and then I would say like 1/3 into the season, we're not doing too well, and coach has to change a few things. Throws me in the lineup, throws a few other guys. He has to make some changes, makes a few changes. We start winning, and then yeah, I ended up playing like I think like 30 games or something like my first year.
Oh, wow.
Started like half of them, so
Yeah.
got some good minutes, learned a lot. Um, and then yeah, after that, uh, I went on trial, started bouncing around. Right, I was in North Carolina with the Railhawks
Yeah.
in the NASL. Um, Same kind of thing there. I went over there as their season was ending, and I stayed with a buddy of mine, and it was like I was there like a month, and then on the end of the month, I'm like, all right, well, season's almost done. I'm gonna go, to Peru, right? I was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was there just training, right? Like just like trying to earn a contract for the next season, maybe, or
Yeah. 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 Try to show what you can do.
yeah, 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 something like that, right? So yeah, so I did that, and then like I was there a month, and then towards the end of the month, when I was getting ready to leave, they found out that I was leaving. I was like one day at training, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like my last day. I'm leaving like tomorrow, and the coaching staff, like Colin Clark and fuck, I forgot the other guy's name. What's this guy's name? Greg Shields. Yeah, Greg Shields. This couple Scottish guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they found out I was leaving, and they brought me into the office. They're like, "AB, like, so where are you going?" And I kind of told them I'm going to Peru, my family. But I do this every year. When I have an off season, and
Yeah.
but they were like, "All right, all right," and then they're like, "Well, AB, um, you know, it's been a pleasure to have you here over this month. At first, we just brought you in, didn't really expect much. We needed like some bodies, like practice players, and
Yeah.
the plan was just, to kind of bring you in. And if you were shit, we would just send you home. And if you were good enough, we just keep you here, right? And as a
Yeah.
free training player. And then maybe you do well enough, and, you know, a month in, and, you've really, you've kind of surprised us. We think you're, a quality player. You're coachable, you're young, you're hungry, and you've proved yourself. So we pretty much, want to offer you a spot on the team for next
Oh, wow.
next
For the
season,
following
for
season.
the
Yeah.
following season. Yeah, 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 for the following season, if you're interested. So I'm like, heck yeah,
Of
of
course.
course.
That's what I came here for.
I came here for. I mean, I wanted to sign right away, but if I knew that if it probably maybe you guys, already have your players, you guys already signed your team, it's gonna be kind of be hard. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'm buzzing. I'm going to Peru. I'm like, all right, yes.
Got my contract.
Going to Peru, they're gonna offer me a contract. They're like, okay, we'll go over the details. Into the summer. Let's keep in contact. we'll go over money, what we're able to offer you, and you know, and yeah, just stay healthy, and we'll keep in touch with Shields, the assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll bring you in for the following season. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I go to Peru. I'm over there. I'm like, all right, I'm ready, right? I'm getting fit, doing all this stuff, and then literally like I think like a month before, I'm like, because I stayed over there, and I'm always checking in, right? And
Yeah.
little by little, I'm like starting to kind of I see them announce players, right? They like announce this guy, and then announce another guy, and then announce another guy, and I'm like, all right, well, they're starting to build the team. Maybe I need to like, because I don't want to be pushy either. Like, hey, like, where's
What's going on?
where's my contract? Did you guys send it over? I was kind of being too nice, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like then I reached out, and I remember when the assistant was like, AB, like, like we really like you and this and that, but like, you know, to be honest, we just got a new owner that just joined, and he's bringing in his like coaching staff, like, and we're not really sure if we're gonna stay or if we're gonna leave, or they're gonna
Oh, wow.
give us another year, or like what's happening. And then we're also signing guys right now, and like we're not really sure how much money we can offer you. And then I'm at that point, I'm like, dude, I'll take anything. Like, you guys just give me like $500, like, and an apartment, I'll make it
I
work.
just want the opportunity.
Just want the opportunity. And you know for whatever reason, it didn't work out, and they were like, they pretty much just like little bit over time, they kind of just kind of ghosted me,
Pushed you to the side. Yeah.
to the side, and they went and signed some more experienced guys around the league, and then they just filled the team in with some local guys, or whatever. I didn't have an agent or anything. It was just me by myself too, so I didn't have
Yeah.
anybody on my behalf or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I'm back to square one. Going to teams, bouncing around. I spent a season in Peru in like a second division team,
Yeah.
the reserves, making like $500, a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
My parents, and yeah, and then I remember coming back to the States, and I'm like, all right, well, I need to figure out like, what am I gonna do? Like, am I
What's next? Yeah.
next? So I kind of start, playing talacha. It's like a whole different world out here in the States. You play in different leagues here in LA and all over, SoCal. You get paid, like under the table. Some of these guys got a lot of money, whatever. Start coaching as well on the side, and then yeah, start doing that, and then all of a sudden, like, this new league is formed. As like basically like because the NASL ended up folding.
Yeah.
NASL folds, like I don't know how long goes by, maybe like a year goes by, and then like the NASL announces, or not the NASL, but like the old owners of the NASL announce that they're like starting this new league. And yeah, and one of the teams is like from here in SoCal, like one that's going to be a franchise. And I'm like, all right. And then I find out where the team is training, here in Silver Lakes, and the ownership, Eric Winalda is like kind of in the mix. And I'm like, all right, well, why not? Like, I'll go check it out, right? I'm here.
Yeah. I'll see what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I go, and then the team's been playing already for a while, and they kind of have a set team. And I go, and then after a week, they're like, "Yeah, dude, we like you. The plan is we're gonna play a season in the UPSL before the league is formed, and then we're gonna go into the league. But we're paying guys starting like as soon as the UPSL starts. We're paying guys, and even before then, guys just to train, just to show guys that they were serious. They're like, we're gonna pay guys. So I'm like,
Oh, wow. Okay.
so I started making like $500 a month. Couple months go by, I start like doing really well. And
Yeah.
like they start bumping me up. You're on like
Yeah.
100. couple of months go by, I go from being like just a training guy that like that's gonna be like on the team to like this guy's probably gonna be a starter. And
Yeah, yeah.
I started making like 50. I would think I was making like 1,500. I was getting paid cash too in an envelope. Every
Yeah.
And yeah, and then once we get to the UPSL, then I'm a starter, and then then Don Ebert takes over the team. Some a coach here from Irvine, that one of the directors or the main guy at Strikers, and then yeah, the ownership. We become Cal United, and then NISA is formed, and yeah, one of the top guys in on Cal United. Making like 3 grand a month. I'm playing Talacha on the side every now and then. I'm also coaching, and I'm one of the best players on the team, almost like an impact guy, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
formed, it's fresh, new league. There's a lot of hype around it, and yeah, I played there like 3 seasons, and then after 3 seasons, we part ways, and then yeah, after that, then it was always the Force. Here comes LA Force, the rival. They've been doing well in the league. We played them in the final. My one year the first year in NISA, we beat them in PKs. I think you were the coach of that team, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then yeah, once I parted ways with Cal United, I got in touch with, I think it was Bob or someone from LA Force, and they were like, "Yeah, come out. Like we'd love to see you." And then you were the coach, and then and then yeah, now that journey starts there, and new coach, new team, same objective to win, you know, whatever it is that we play, and then yeah, followed up Cal United by spending like 2 or 3 seasons at LA, and we did well, definitely, especially the first year for sure. We got to the final, and then the second year, obviously, did a little less good, and then in the final
We'll
year,
get to that. We'll get to all of that. Yeah.
all over the place. But yeah, then I spent another 2 3 years there, and then yeah, and then coaching got a little bit more serious. I got a little bit more organized about coaching, and then yeah, and then now with Chidiaco over the past 2 3 years, this UPSL team out here, we've built this program, this club into what it is now. We won the UPSL, I think, last year, which is like the best, I guess you can say, non-professional league. I guess the most organized non-professional league in America.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And yeah, basically with a pool, a roster of players, a lot of guys, ex-pros, ex-teammates of mine, some young guys in the mix, and yeah, you know, and then from that, then we went to TST last year, the 77 tournament, and then it's just, this is a soccer just keeps opening doors, and it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely. So let's share a little bit about when we first met and our journey really quickly here.
Yeah,
So you become the cat. Well, first off, I remember one day I was at a park in Chino Hills,
yeah,
and we saw you training, and I was with Tico. Tico was our
yeah, yeah, yeah,
fitness. He was our fitness trainer at the time,
yeah,
and we go to I think it's called Grand Park Avenue
yeah, yeah,
in Chino Hills, and we see you on the other side. And Tico goes to me, "Oh, that's the guy that plays for Cal United."
yeah,
And I looked at you and I was like, "Oh, that little fucker right there, man."
yeah, 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 yeah,
That because we had just lost to you
yeah,
guys in PKs.
yeah,
And I didn't even say hi or anything.
yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh.
So I was like, "Oh, okay." So that was the first I knew that you were not only a player, but you were also coaching. You were doing your private training and things like that. So then you come over to our team, and you were one of those, like you hate to play against, but
Yeah.
you would love to have on your team.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you come and man, that season for us was just to me was just amazing because we were the lowest paying team. Our budget was the lowest in the league,
Yeah.
and we made it all the way to the national championship game. We lost to Detroit City in the
Mhm.
final. But before that, I wanted to just remind us about that semifinal game. It was us against Chattanooga.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
down 2-0.
Yeah.
And then, man, we came back and we ended up winning the game 3-2. What's your memory like as a player from that season, from that game specifically, making all the way to the final? What can you share with us?
I mean, I share the same, the same thoughts as you. I thought that was probably one of my most favorite seasons as a pro, just because of the people, the vibes of the team, um, just the overall experience. We made lemonade out of lemons. Our
Yeah,
situation wasn't the best, but we did with it what we could, and and to get, like you said, that far in the tournament, or in the league, and to get that far in the season with what we had at our disposal was a big achievement. For me personally, I was the captain of the team and the leader, and I was a big part of the way we played, and the way we were organized, and we had a lot of good pieces on the team as well that helped. We had a lot of quality players, a lot of quality people, good
yeah.
people. um and yeah, it was a a great season. In that game specifically, I remember we were down 2-0, and we go down 2-0 right after half. We're down like 1-0 at half, I think, and then we go down 2-0 at like 10 minutes into the second half. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, no, this we can't go out. Like, we can't go out to this team. Like, this team isn't that good. They can't.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, yeah, like we change a couple things. Like, I think we changed like formations a little bit, and
We did, yeah, yeah.
we're like, dude, well, I mean, if we're gonna lose, let's lose like trying to score. So we changed a couple things, threw on a winger, changed it. And then I remember, like, I think like Cheney scored.
Cheney scores the header
Or is that
over the keeper. He
first?
chips it.
Get a ball out wide. I think Diego or something puts a ball in. We score. We're like at the 70th mark. We changed the game in like literally like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or 2-1. We got some life. We're like, all right, 2-1. We got life, whatever. All of a sudden, then, like 3 minutes later, JP out of nowhere picks up the ball.
Playing center back. He was
Center
he was
back.
he was our he
They're
was our right center back.
He's the right center back, left footed. They're also their backs against the walls because they didn't adapt to making that we made that change. They didn't adapt to it. They stayed the same.
Yeah, yeah.
They start A lot of pressure starts coming, and JP out of nowhere just drives the ball up forward. And I remember I'm to like the right of him. I'm like, JP. I'm trying to get his attention to like passing me because I'm wide open. And he just unleashes a strike from like 25, 30 out. JP,
Yeah.
this guy lets it ride, and it goes top bins. We go crazy because,
He doesn't even know how to celebrate.
it's like one of those moments, and we're like, we're back. Literally another 5 minutes goes by. Chattanooga's still like shocked. They're like still like
They didn't know what hit him.
they're like stunned. Like they're like dizzy. They're like they don't know what's going on. We scored the third goal on a set piece, and I remember a fucking stadium goes silent, and we go crazy.
Crazy, crazy.
Crazy. We run over to their side of the bench, like on their side. We're all jumping up on each other. You're in there. Chava's in there. Our assistant's in there. Guys are going just insane. The stadium is quiet. The other team is quiet. They don't know what's going on, and yeah, it was just like a surreal moment. They're just like it's just so much adrenaline, going on.
One of the best
One
moments
of the
for
best.
sure.
Can't really explain it. You're just like on a high. You're like, wait, you're like, how did this even happen? You know,
Too bad we lost in the final, man.
we
That was
lost
a tough
fight,
one.
but yeah, what a surreal moment. What a surreal moment. But yeah,
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, AB, as we're getting close to the end here, I wanted to ask you a question that is what I've gone through in my life. I started the 1% Club.
hold on. Let me use the restroom real quick. Hold on 1 second.
Sure, go for it. So I started the 1% Club during the hardest part of my life. I didn't really see light at the end of the tunnel. It was really tough to continue going. And the name comes from doing one thing. And even if it's not 1%, it could be 0.001%, but continuing to show up and to grind and to move forward. So, my main lesson for everyone is no matter how low it gets, you have to continue going. You have to have faith and belief and continue on the path. So, the hardest moment of my life, I got through it, and through a lot of hard work and discipline and consistency. So, that was the thing that kept me grounded, that helped me get up from hitting rock bottom, basically. So you've had quite a few moments that you've already mentioned here, from having to make life decisions at such an early age to not being eligible to go to college. What can you share with everybody listening and watching us? Do you feel like there is a moment in your life that you can point out that was a turning point for you? And how did you get over it? And what advice would you give to someone that might be going through some sort of adversity or problem, or they're going through a hard time right now? You and I know this. We've gone through a whole lot, but we came out on top. So what would you say to someone going through something like that?
Um, I mean, I think in my own personal experience, I think a lot of the biggest lessons that I've gotten from my football journey or just from life in general have come from making mistakes and 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 learning new things and tackling new obstacles and a lot of failure. Like, I feel like you have to get a lot of no's before you can get your first yes, and that comes, you know in a lot of realms in life, right? A lot of points, right? I think, adversity, you want adversity. Things get too easy and too comfortable, and you know there's no real room for growth. I think you can only truly grow and get better as a person if you're challenged, and if there's something pushing you, there has to be something internally and externally that pushes you to be better in whatever it is that you do, whether it's a player or you're a coach or you're a boss or you play soccer, or you run a business, or you know I feel like, you know the storm and stuff, people usually run away from the storm.
Yep.
The best way to get through a storm is actually to run through it to the other side.
Yep.
And uh and yeah, that's what I would say is, if you're dealing with some adversity, you're dealing uh with some life challenges, or in sports, or whatever it is in your
In life.
life, you kind of just understand that it's a part of life. We all experience it at some point, whether you're a man or a woman. It comes with being a human.
Human. Yep.
And one of my coaches when I was at San Diego State, I remember. I mean, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when I play football, right? I would always get kind of angry when I wouldn't have a good performance. Kind of like my emotions would get the best out of me. I'm still. It's a huge learning curve for me, and I think a lot of people, is to have control of your emotions at all times.
Yep. Yep.
And I remember when I was younger, I didn't have as good control of that as I do now. Um, but I remember coach would told me once, after I think it was like a couple bad games I had. He told me, he's like, look, when things are going well for you, relax. They're not as good as they seem. They can always be better.
Mm-hmm.
And when things are going bad for you, relax. They could always be worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he told me that, and I mean, he told me that like years ago. It's like 2012. So it's like
Stuck with you.
stuck with me. It helps keep me level footed, like my feet on the ground. Don't get too high when things are going well, because trust me, something around the corner is coming that's gonna be, you didn't expect it.
It will change.
Gonna try to deter you or throw you off your game, or you know, life happens, right? And when you're doing well and you're in a good moment, and things are going well, like, also, like, keep your feet on the ground, like, you know they can always be better, look to improve. I think life is just about just a everyday struggle to be a better version of yourself, as cliche as they may sound. And yeah, we only have one life, so make the most out of it, enjoy life, you know do everything that you want to do, because you know at the end of it, we all just have experiences, and I feel like, for me personally, I'm just trying to just gain as much experience as I can in football. I mean, I love football, and I want to do it. I want to be around it. It drives me, and yeah, and any other person in any other realm of their life, whatever it is that you do, or whatever it is that you love, just do more of it, and
Yeah.
take advantage while you still have your youth. And yeah, it's pretty much it.
Beautifully said. So what's AB up to now? You mentioned a little bit of Chiriaco. You do private training,
Yeah,
the
yeah. So yeah, yeah.
TST.
So I
Tell
have.
us more. What are you up to
Oh yeah.
nowadays?
So I have my own academy down here in SoCal, right here in Orange County. I run a training academy with one of my good friends, one of my best friends, Kyle O'Brien, and yeah, we do private sessions, we do group sessions. I also have some of my own clientele that I've been training for a long time, right? That I started way before that. Um, and then obviously I run this UPSL team, Chiriaco FC, with Kyle is also on there as well. Another guy named Paco, and then Victor, who's the owner. We play in the UPSL.
And you play and coach.
I player coach. Yep, player coach.
Yeah.
More of a coaching role now, but I
Yeah.
do get in the mix every now and then, and then yeah, just trying to, like I said, just take advantage and continue to play football and be around it and learn and and win. Obviously, that's always the goal, to win in anything. Um, we're going to TST again this year. We went last year. For the people that don't know, it's like a 7v7 tournament for $1 million.
This year, yeah, yeah, it's amazing.
North Carolina. Last year we went, took a good chunk of players from here, plus like other players around the globe, really. And we got to the round of eight. So 48 teams. It's to get to the final eight, and we didn't pay any players. We just paid for their flights, their hotels, and some of us, we had like a 20-player roster. Some of us just met like 2 days before the tournament.
For the first time.
First time, like ever.
Yeah.
And some teams went over there a week before, did a preseason, paid their players, 2,000, 3,000, and we just went over there. Some teams brought pro indoor players that do it for a living, and they play professional indoor, and us were just like some good level ex pros, some talacha players,
Yeah.
and yeah, we went over there, got to the final round of eight, which is like, it was like what an incredible experience.
I can bet. Yeah.
Incredible experience, from the tournament to just those 10 days that we were together as a group with the players that were there. Like, honestly, one of the most beautiful experiences ever, in terms of like a group of men coming together that don't really know each other, some of them,
Yeah.
and like coming together in such a short amount of time to like go on an epic run in this widely renowned tournament here in the States. And yeah, we're gonna run it back in June. And yeah, should be another, hopefully a good experience, and hopefully we can get a little further. And if we get a little bit of luck, maybe maybe we can get to the final prize. And who knows what
Make
happens.
a run for it. Yeah.
It's football, so anything can happen in football. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at out here. And just like I said earlier, just trying to take advantage of the time being while I'm still able to play and coach. And last year in that tournament, I mostly coached.
Yeah.
uh Hard to, I went in there with the idea I want to play, but I'm the coach. So like, as we went into that tournament, big tournament, we won the first game, then we lost the second game, then we lost the third game. We went in as a wild card, then went into the knockout stage, won the first round of 32, then we won the round of 16, and then in the round of 8 we got knocked out. But like, we started doing well, we started picking up fire, and
Yeah.
side coaching, and I'm like, all right, well, if it ain't broke, like I don't gotta fix it. So
Yeah.
kind of mostly coached. I got a little bit in the final game that we got knocked out in, but this year my plan is to right from the gate play, and we'll have another guy there that's kind of trying to kind of manage us a little bit, in terms of like,
Yeah.
we're not really like, we don't train together. We don't, we're not going to need a coach per se, but
Yeah.
somebody there that's just another voice, that maybe when I'm in,
And see from a different perspective.
from a different perspective, maybe manage the subs. The way the tournament is laid out is like free subbing, so there's rotations and stuff, and guys will know that stuff going in.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. So
Good luck. Hopefully everything goes well.
yeah, it's gonna be. We got a stone's throw chance. So
But there is a chance.
there is a chance for sure.
You never know. You never know.
Like I said, some teams are coming from Europe. Some teams are coming from Mexico. Some teams are investing, paying players
A
uh,
lot.
money to go play in this tournament. And we're over here doing it the Moneyball way. We're
Yeah,
not paying guys, and we got some diamonds in the rough, and yeah, let's see if we can make a run for it and have another good experience.
that's awesome. Well, AB, I wanted to thank you so much for being here, for sharing, for inspiring other people as well
Yeah.
to follow the path and to follow their dreams and to continue going. And thank you again for the amazing season that we had together. You are an inspiration to me as well. You stay in shape, you keep on playing, you keep loving, you keep doing what you love. And that to me is the definition of success is you do what you love and you get paid for it. So I wish more people would go into that path because a lot of times people get so caught up in just trying to make money, but they are unhappy on the way. And you are someone that you always have a smile on your face. You're a great dude. You're a pleasure to be around. We've had some amazing times together. So I truly appreciate that, and I appreciate you taking the time. Much love always. Good luck with everything. And any final words that you want to share?
No, it was a pleasure. Always, like I said, football football brings people together, and yeah, over the years, I've created some good friendships with a lot of people, and our relationship is another one that I'm very grateful for, and I I applaud what you're doing, now, and you're going on your own path, and you're helping people, you're impacting kids, and you're doing it your way, and that's ultimately the goal of anyone, really, is to find their thing and run with it, and I appreciate you having me on and speaking, and hopefully somebody will see this and get motivated, or go out and start kicking a ball or something. Anything is possible, and yeah, it's a pleasure, and yeah, I know we'll be in touch, and yeah, maybe we'll see each other sometime soon, and we'll keep it going, we'll keep this thing rolling.
Thank you. Thank you again. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming back again to another the 1% Club podcast. I hope this has helped you in some kind of way, whatever you're going through. Remember, there is a way out. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. It might seem like there isn't, but if you continue putting one foot in front of the other, do what you can today, start today, make today day one, and not one day. One more day, one more battle, 1% better. Thank you.